Hey guys, this is a short video for one of the guys on Facebook is asking about a nuclear setup. And I know a lot of people have trouble with setting up nuclears. It is kind of scary, actually. But I found a setup and I tweaked it a little bit. So, I'm going to run up and show you that. Let me find it here first. So, it's set up that way. It's a pretty simple setup, and this one has been running for, God, months on a couple different saves I've got. This is on 0.17. You probably can't see the title bar, but it's 0.1743 is the current version. So, let's get up to the reactor and I'll show you around. Alright, so one of the first things you'll need is sulfuric acid to start this whole process. I don't know if you're having trouble with the mining too, but let me show you my setup. I've got some coal. I use coal liquefaction and cracking to get the sulfuric acid. You don't need a whole lot. Okay, so I've got this guy bringing ore in. It's got a smelter right here, smelts it down into iron, and the coal comes in. And this little setup, I won't go in detail on this. This is just a one refinery coal liquefaction, and it gets it down to sulfuric acid. Okay, you need that for uranium mining. Now, you can put that on a train. If you're doing an outpost, you can put like the last car. Sulfuric acid, and I've never ran low. I've had like a 6-car mining operation with the last one sulfuric acid and never ran out. So I piped this all the way over here, and it just so happens I have this little uranium mine up in the corner, and it's got 3.5 million now, which will last forever if I don't use it for ammo. So bring your sulfuric acid in here, pipe it into your mining drills. And what'll happen is when you put a mining drill down on uranium, you'll have these fluid outputs. Fluid inputs and outputs. And these corners, or these edges, they go in or out. So you can just link them together like this. And just pipe it in one spot. That's where it comes in. And I've just got these connectors right here that just connect everything. So other than that, it's standard mining operation. Okay, you get your ore out. And then it comes up here to these centrifuges. Okay, and these are set to uranium processing. Pulls ore in and spits out the U-238, which is called the bad uranium. Okay, so it spits that out, and I've got this right here that just does the lane switching. All right, don't worry about this up here yet. Okay, so that's where our U-238 comes out. And I forget the ratio, but it's a tiny amount of U-235 that you get out. So I pull that off here. I've got a filter inserter that just sticks the U-235 in this chest right here. And when you first start, this is all you'll have. You'll have these centrifuges pumping out U-238, and you'll need to stash it somewhere. This may be a series of chests or something to stash it when you first get going, because you're looking for 40 units of this. Okay, that's the light green. The 235 is what you'll be running your reactors on. Okay, don't worry about this yet. So we run this U-238 on a belt over here, and this is the core of the setup. Okay, I've got one combinator right here that's controlling how much U-238 goes into the system, and it needs to go on the outside of this belt here. Okay, so this is the decider combinator. When 238 is less than 1, output something. I output G. Okay, so it's reading this belt section right here. Read belt contents, hold. Okay, and it's reading how much U238 is here. And if there is ever less than 1 right here, it lets this belt go, which injects some more into the system. Okay? So, it comes up this way and dumps on the inside of the belt. This is important. Don't just run it through, it won't work. Dumps it on the inside of the belt. And then you go into your centrifuges, which are set for the Kovarex enrichment process. And what this does is it takes in U235, 230. No, it's 238. Yeah, takes in 235 and 238, and spits out more 235 than it brought in by 1. And you also get a little bit of the I let a car go by. You get a little bit of 238 out. So you need to separate this stuff out. So what I do is I have a stack inserter that dumps out when it's done on the outside of the belt. And these two guys pull it back in. So that will feed itself. So it will bring in, when you put 40 U235, and what is it, 12? 40 U235 and 5 U238. If you put that in, you'll get 41 out. And what it does, so you can see these guys right here doing it. One will spit out, the other two pull back in. And when it has extra, when this gets high enough, when it has extra, well, it just lets that go, and it keeps going down the belt, and it can feed the later ones. You can do this with just 1 or 2, so don't think you have to have like 14 of them like I do. So eventually, you come around here, you see these guys? There's extra, so that goes on the inside, so it can feed the later ones. And eventually this will lock up, and it will be full of U235, and that's fine. So, over here, towards the end of the process, I've got this one stack filter inserter set for U235, and it dumps into a provider chest. So now, we've just got U235 injected into the bot system. And that's what we need. That's what we need. We want it to generate U235 continuously and just make it available. And this thing will just keep going and keep going and keep going. So to make your fuel, I've got this requester chest right here. Okay. That's pulling in U238 and feeding into this fuel cell assembler. And it needs 238, 235, and iron plates. And you remember the iron plate that I made, let's see, where is it? Over here at this little processing thing. We use it for the sulfuric acid too. But, let's see, some of it gets pulled off into a provider chest. So we can use it to make the fuel cells. Okay. But these guys just keep going. We also pull off, let's see, we pull off the 238 here to go into the assembler for the fuel. Okay, so that's a stack filter inserter. And what you would want to do is, if you're going to be making ammo, what I would do, I don't use this one to make ammo, but I would put, like, I don't know, right here, the last priority, a splitter with the output priority set to this belt, because you don't ever want this to run out. You want this to be continuous, and then whatever is left over you can send over to your ammo production. So there's that, and we got the fuel cells being made. Okay, so that's cool. So we got fuel cells here being made by this, being fed by the Kovarex and the mining operation. this so you can happen. Okay, I'll explain what these guys are here in a minute. Okay, so down to the reactors. And this is a simple reactor setup that I jacked it from somewhere, I'm sure. Probably one of the guys on Facebook somewhere. But here's the reactors. Okay. You got the heat exchangers going out this way. And here's the steam engines. It's a little bit spread out, but I've got room for it. There's all the turbines. And then it's pulling in water here. And what I do is I find a nice big lake somewhere. Let me show you. Usually find a nice big lake and carve it out. Okay, I find out how wide this thing is and just make a swath just down so you got water available on the side. So this I can just keep adding down this way. This second reactor over here, if you're curious, is I use this to feed outposts. All it does is it makes steam to feed outposts. So when it uses fuel, let me go over here and show you. Alright, so we got our reactors here. And we have a requester chest that brings in the fuel cell. And you have to take out, there is one. You have to take out used up uranium fuel cell. Okay, so put that in the provider chest. If you don't, they'll stop working. So you got to get rid of those somehow. So they'll follow these guys. Okay, he goes up to... Come on, fly faster. Now we'll run ahead of him here. Okay, those go up to these guys up here. These are centrifuges and they're set to nuclear fuel reprocessing. So it takes in 5 fuel cells and you get some U-238 out. Okay, here's one going. So it'll got a requester chest there, looking for fuel cells. And then this is a active provider chest because you don't want this to overflow or your whole system will stop. Active provider there, and I've got those coming in there. I mean, this can fill up. You need to kind of keep an eye on it. I check it about every, I don't know, 10 hours or so. About once a day, I'll check and see what's going on. Every now and then, something will get overloaded, but it's usually not a big deal. I have to do something with it every few days, maybe. So that's basically it. Well, I mean, once you get your fuel cell reprocessing done, that's the end of the process. You just got to find somewhere to put that. Okay, see here, it's starting to get stacked up. So the whole process stops right there. And that's fine. That just means we have plenty now. Alright, so I hope that helped. If you have any questions, hit me on Facebook and let me know.